defendant having pleaded guilty by information to one count felony of the 5th degree breaking and entering. Parties are ready to go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. My client is a young woman. She's a mother. She just started LPN school, and she has a very bright future, I think, ahead of her, who unfortunately made a very poor choice that day. Her ex-friend, and I use the term ex because the co-defendant in this case that was handled through another court, she no longer has any contact with her. After this, she's completely cut ties with this woman. But her ex-friend had asked her for a ride to the VA. My client took her. They waited there 2 hours, and I know we had discussions in the court. Your Honor, my client simply didn't understand the law, and I know ignorance is no excuse.
The problem here is not a misunderstanding of the law, but the problem is, from your client's perspective, what she thought she was doing there in those 2 hours.
I agree with the court, and I was just going to address that. She went there with her friend, and she should have, after a certain amount of time, said, "Why are we here? What is going on? You asked me to drive you here." I agree with the court. Now, I don't have a specific explanation as to why, but my client didn't. And during that time frame, the co-defendant had slashed this woman's tires, and then as soon as the victim came out, attacked the woman. Now, from my client's perspective, she didn't throw a punch, so that was part of the reason why she didn't think she did anything wrong. However, Your Honor, she and I know this is a dispute, but when the attack started, my client did open the door and told her ex-friend to stop and let's get out of here, let's leave. At that point, the attack was over. The co-defendant did get in the car, they drove off, and then my client contacted the police after the fact. She had heard, she thought that they would be looking for her, and I believe she voluntarily turned herself in. Your Honor, clearly, she shouldn't have driven and waited there for 2 hours. Clearly, she should have started turning to her friend saying, "Look, why are we here? What is going on? This doesn't seem right to me." And she didn't do that, Your Honor. She did take responsibility. She was prior to this court, by way of information, she did take responsibility for her actions. Again, I mean, since then, she has just, I think just a few weeks ago, just started LPN school. She's trying to get things together, Your Honor, so she has a future for herself and her children. She is remorseful. She doesn't know the victim in this matter, Your Honor. She doesn't have a beef with her one way or the other. She had no idea who the victim was. She is sorry that the victim got attacked the way she did. She realizes her role in that, in the sense that she took her friend there, her ex-friend, to commit that crime. And yes, it took a little while for it to sink in, Your Honor, but she realizes that yes, she did participate. Yes, she should have. There's a lot of things she could have done in that 2 hour window that may have prevented this, that she didn't do, and that's why she's taking responsibility, Your Honor. And I'm respectfully asking the court, based on the fact that she has no prior felony history. I know in chambers some misdemeanors came up in her past, but she has no prior felony convictions, Your Honor. She is in school. She is a mother to young children, and she has taken responsibility for her actions in this case. I'm going to respectfully ask the court to consider community control sanctions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. What do you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
Stand up.
First, I want to apologize to the victim. I want to apologize for the role that I played in it. I shouldn't have never took her out there to commit any crime. I wasn't aware that she was going over to fight anyone. I wasn't trying to fight nobody. I don't fight anyone. But I did cut ties with her, and a friend would never put me, I shouldn't be ever put in a position where I had to fight for my life, because this is my record. This, what I did just don't affect me. It affect my kids, my family, and my career. Like, me catching a felony is play a really big role in my life, like with school, with pursuing nursing, with my job. I do phlebotomy at UH. It did pop up, so I do have to tell them what's going on, and I might lose my job. That's why
How did you know this Booker?
she lived in my building.
So why did she ask you to drive her somewhere?
I was off work that day. She called me like, "Can you give me a ride somewhere?" And I'm like, "Where?" I didn't really have any gas money, so she's like, "I'll put some gas in your car and I'll buy you something to eat." So we went out there, and I'm like, "Where are we going?" So when we got in the car, she's like, "I want to go talk to someone at the VA hospital." First, we went there. She did slash the girl tires. We left, went and got smoothies, and we came back. And the girl was coming outside, and she jumped on the girl.
Okay, but, so after she slashed the tire,
Mhm.
why didn't you just tell her to get the hell out of your car and leave? If that's what she did.
Right. So when me not trying to be a friend, and me not really thinking of it, not thinking that she's going to jump on someone.
I know, but isn't slashing the tire bad enough in and
Yeah.
of itself?
Yeah, it is. And then she was telling me, like, I'm like, why are you, I asked her, like, why are you doing this? And I guess prior to that day, her and the girl got into a fight. The boy, because it's over a boy, they got into a fight that night. And she was like, "Oh, I want to talk to her. I want to explain myself to her."
Yeah, but she slashed her tire. She didn't want to talk to her.
I'm not thinking she's going to fight this girl. Not.
Well, but, I mean, if she slashed her tire, then you guys leave and then come back, what did you think she was going to do when she came upon her?
And she told me she wanted to have a conversation with her because, like I said, it's over a boy. She like,
But-
I want to
but-
talk to her.
Why would you believe that after she slashed the tire?
I've never seen her fight anybody.
But have you ever seen anybody slash a tire before?
No, I never
Okay.
slashed a tire.
I know, but that's a pretty violent act, right?
Yeah, it is.
So it's incomprehensible that you would think that she just wants to talk to her. Because she was pretty pissed off in order to slash a tire, right?
Right. It's me not thinking the severity of it. Like, I'm just always saying yes or being nice. Like, I'm not thinking she's about to attack this girl. I'm like, I'm not thinking she's that mad so she's going to attack someone. Like, I ain't never been in a position where nobody just attacking nobody, because I've been a victim before and I've been through it. And somebody came in, jumped on me before.
This is your case is a very odd case. Because I don't know what to believe from you or what to disbelieve from you. Now, didn't you tell the probation officer you had no record?
Right.
Why did you tell her that?
No, I told her back when I was 19, I told her that I caught a theft case.
What did she tell you?
There was no juvenile record.
When I was 19, I told her
Okay, why did you tell her you had no juvenile record?
petty theft.
Huh?
Petty theft.
Okay, but that's a record, isn't it?
That's
You
where
got 3 theft charges as a juvenile. You're in school for what now?
I'm in LP in school. I go to.
When did you start that?
I started it. I think it was the 15th. I have my offer letter. I mean my letter. I think it was the 15th.
Where is it?
Right here in Willoughby.
How long of a program is that?
It's a 9-month program. I'll be done in May.
And then you're going to be an LPN?
Yes.
You're not going to have very much success if you're hanging around people like this.
I know.
When's the last, do you still live in the same building as this Booker? You haven't seen her in the hallway or in the parking lot or
I
anything?
seen her probably like 2 months ago. I seen her. We crossed paths. We don't speak. We don't talk. Nothing. Like we had like a little conversation, and I just felt like she put me in a predicament, like in
Well-
this predicament.
Well, it's not all, I mean, you may believe she put you in a predicament, but you put yourself in a predicament at the very least when this tire was slashed and then you left and went back to the same place. So you're certainly not blameless in this whole matter, are you?
No.
I mean, it's clear that you didn't get out and inflict a beating on this person. But had you done what you should have at the very least done, not go back to that place after she slashed a tire, then the beating wouldn't have taken place, right? At least
Right.
on that day, it wouldn't have taken place.
Right.
My guess is Booker would have tracked her down somewhere else, but it wouldn't have happened that day and you wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right.
So you put yourself in that position.
Right.
Okay. So how old are your kids?
My son, he'll be 10 in October, and my daughter is 6.
And when this happened, where were they?
They were at school.
All right, anything else you want to tell me?
No, that's all.
Mr. DePiero.
Your Honor, the state would join in the recommendation for community control sanctions. The state has had numerous conversations with the victim, in this case, Gloria Noble. She's not here today, Your Honor. We've had regular contact with her, however. She did submit a victim impact statement. Would ask the court to consider everything that she relayed in the victim impact statement. Also, I know that Ms. Noble would want me to relay that she feels very strongly about incarceration as a community control sanction provision. The state would defer to the court's discretion as to all of the terms of community control sanctions. There is no restitution in this matter.
Thank you. All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and the victim impact statement. And listened to the defendant, listened to counsel. I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. I'm going to place you on community control for 3 years. Now, what's going on with that case that's in Cuyahoga County?
I'm still going through it with
When's the next hearing scheduled for?
the 26th.
Of this month?
Yes.
What type of hearing is it?
It's arraignment, I think. Or pretrial, I think. I don't know.
Pre-trial?
I think so.
All right, I'm going to place you on community control for 3 years. You're going to serve 2 days in jail with credit for 2. You're to have no drugs or alcohol, and you'll be screened. You're to obtain and maintain. Are you still working at UH?
No, I do traveling STNA.
What?
I'm a traveling STNA.
All right. And then, so you're to maintain full-time employment or full-time school or a combination of each that equates to full-time? You'd have no contact with Samora, Booker, or Gloria Noble. You're going to pay the costs and supervision fees with this case. Ms. Cook, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Now, I'm not putting you in jail. At this point, because of your school and employment, okay? That's the only reason. But you're not as I said before, blameless in what happened here. You're not blameless in this beating that took place. So you're getting one opportunity. Now, these terms of probation are pretty easy. All you have to do is live your life like you're supposed to live, instead of hanging around dipshits like Booker, okay? And putting yourself in positions, in a position that got you here, okay? Don't leave here blaming Booker for your lot in life as you sit here right now with this felony conviction, because it ain't Booker's fault. It's your fault, okay? So you either get it together, or if you come back for violating these simple terms, then I'll figure out I did the wrong thing, and then I'll just send you to prison for 12 months. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero, is there anything else?
Your Honor, should the court ever impose a term of imprisonment in this matter, could it be that is the court ordering that it may be consecutive to any other prison term that would be served at the time? Or
For
no?
what?
Well, we got another felony pending, I don't know. It's typically in the judgment entries. Now, the court speaks to whether or not a potential prison sentence in this matter may be run consecutive to another potential one in the future. I just want to make sure.
Well, if I don't tell her that, am I prohibited from doing that?
There is, I believe, an interpretation of the law that says that you are.
That's dumb. Isn't that dumb?
Well, as to whether it makes sense,
In case law or statute?
I believe it's case law, Judge.
Okay. Well, I understand why you're bringing this up. But then I'm imagining that she's going to get convicted of something else. And that if I didn't tell her if she gets convicted of something else while she's on probation and I send her to prison, then it has to be consecutive.
Well, not necessarily that it has to be, just that it may be.
Okay.
And certainly the defendant would be presumed innocent of any charge that she faces in the future. But it's not impossible that anybody would be convicted of a felony while they're
This
on
is
probation.
crazy.
Yes,
This is
Judge.
crazy. So,
But-
so I will respectfully decline to have that put in the judgment entry,
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
because I think that's the craziest thing. That's the craziest interpretation that some other people have come up with. So, anything else besides that?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Watts, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, just do what you're supposed to do. That's all. And then you're going to get the other entry, Mr. DePiero?
Yes, I will, Your Honor.
All right.
For purposes of the record, I'll just say the state will be presenting a written nollie to the court on the other case pursuant to the agreement.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
As this hearing came to a close, the judge chose to give the defendant something many people never receive a second chance. Instead of prison, she was placed on community control with strict conditions, allowing her to continue nursing school and support her children. But the judge made one thing perfectly clear: this opportunity comes with responsibility. He reminded her that blaming a bad friend doesn't erase the choices she made herself. The moment she stayed after witnessing a crime, she became part of the consequences that followed. His final message was simple but powerful. Your future is determined not by who you know, but by the decisions you make every day. One wrong choice can change your life, but one good choice can begin to rebuild it. Whether this second chance becomes a success story or another trip back to court is now entirely up to her.